Live facial recognition, cameras scanning crowds and using artificial intelligence to match the results to databases of wanted villains is seen by some as a potential game changer in apprehending criminals. But dozens of MPs and peers from across the political spectrum have joined forces with privacy and rights groups to demand an immediate stop to this form of surveillance by the police and by private companies. One of the signatories is the former Conservative Cabinet Minister David Davis, MP for Halton Priss and Howden. Good afternoon, Mr Davis.
Afternoon.
If you walk round a high street, any public space, most private spaces, you will find the air around you clustered with CCTV, closed-circuit television. What's the difference between that and facial recognition?
Well, what facial recognition involves is the state keeping a record of you. I think they've got about 16 million of them at the moment. And then actively trying to match that record of your face to the pictures on the CCTV screen. So unlike CCTV conventionally, where it may be used after the event to provide evidence to catch a criminal, or indeed, famously on one occasion, catch two murderers of a young child. Yeah. This is trying to, as it were, convict on the fly is putting it too strongly, but to match on the fly. About 5 of our major police forces use it, including the Met. There's no legal basis to it. It's never been through Parliament. It's never been approved by Parliament. And worse than that, recently South Wales police were actually told they had to stop using it by the courts because it was in breach of the privacy of the people who were attending the demonstration they applied the CCTV to. They thought that they had a perfectly reasonable expectation of anonymity, shall we say, which is normal in Britain, and they weren't. So that's the basis to it. It's bluntly, it's a bad idea. It's a very un-British sort of thing.
The Home Office says, forgive me if I interrupt, the Home Office says facial recognition has a sound legal basis confirmed by the courts and has already enabled a large number of serious criminals to be caught, including for murder and sexual offences. There's a lot there, but part of it, of course, is that this is a useful weapon against criminals.
Well, there are lots of useful weapons against criminals, and CCTV by itself is not wrong, and we're not to know whether or not they would have been caught by the simple use of CCTV anyway. I mean, who said that you were quoting to me?
The Home Office.
Yeah, well, the Home Office has said a number of things in the last few days on this subject which are not right. It's not approved by the courts. It was actually literally thrown out by the courts, by the Supreme Court, with respect to when a case was brought against South Wales police on the grounds it was an inappropriate intrusion on somebody's privacy, and that's the key point. I mean, when we are seeking to catch a criminal, we don't search everybody's house in the street. We don't stop random passers-by. We find some evidence, and then we get a warrant on the back of that evidence to either arrest the person or search their house or search their point of work or whatever. That's the way British law works, that way round, not a sort of general catch-all. And the truth of the matter is, what the Home Office didn't tell you is that when they do use live facial recognition, it gets it wrong well over 80% of the time, between 86% and 90% of the time on the 2 sets of numbers we've actually got hard data for. And it does so in a way which is discriminatory against women and against ethnic minorities, particularly black people.
Briefly, if you would, Mr Davis, is this a sort of full-on ban, full stop for you, or is this a stop until you can get proper regulation of facial recognition in place?
Well, the de minimis position is a stop until it comes in front of Parliament. I mean, it's for Parliament to decide at the end of the day. Okay. And this is extraordinary that we have the Home Office, yet again, I'm afraid, deciding to sort of, as it were, make the law up as it goes along.
We'll have to leave it there.
We know that doesn't work.
Thank you. David Davis, I'm really sorry to cut you off, but just horribly tight for time. Thank you very much for joining us. We do appreciate it.